Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, welcome to the Liberian Perspective. I talk about the Colorado Buffaloes and Coach Prime on this here channel. If you enjoy that kind of material, please help my channel grow by smashing that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up. And right over here, I have an Amazon storefront where you can get your Coach Prime and your Buff merch. And look right here. If you see something, say something. You have a story idea or something you want to share with me, you can send that to my inbox on Twitter or Instagram at TLP Sports Club. Or you can email it, hot tips for tlpsports@gmail.com. Hey family, guess what? That's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. All right, so today I have a reaction video for you. Coach Prime is meeting with the business students at the University of Colorado, the Lee School of Business at the university. Coach Prime is meeting with them. They're real hype. The Coach Prime effect is in full effect. I'm a strong advocate of Coach Prime receiving an honorary degree from some university. I don't know if it's going to be CU or it's going to be some university out there recognizing the fact that he understands marketing so well. According to the interview that he had with these students, he's understood marketing all the way from when he was a child. He understood what he wanted when he was 7 years old. He understands how to read the crowd. He understands people. He understands how to push his brand forward. We can always learn from this guy. These are some young minds that he's imparting. Hopefully they'll get the message that he's sending. His style is a little different. Hopefully they understand his style and how he brings it. So I am an advocate of him receiving an honorary doctorate degree. I want us to go ahead and watch the video together. Sometimes it's irritating when you're watching a reaction video, when it's getting to that good part, when they pause the video and then they start talking. I know that's irritating, but I am going to do that, so please don't get too frustrated. So this one is coming from Reach the People Media. Pretty long video. I'm only going to take a few things and respond to it. I'm going to put a link to the video in the description. So without further ado, guys, let's start the video and then I'll give you my response. Let's go. So Reach the People Media, right off the jump, guys. The kids are excited. This is the Prime effect. Everybody understands that Coach Prime has brought a new energy. Prime time is exciting. He's vibrant. He has a youthful energy, and you can see it in these kids. These are young college students who are going to go into the world. Coach Prime always talks about the 90 percentile of the kids that he's coaching on the football field are not going to go to the NFL. And these kids, he's got to prepare them to go into the world. They're going to be sitting in a cubicle. They're going to be starting businesses. They're going to be working next to you. You never know what these kids are going to end up. He's coaching these kids and preparing them for the real world. They're going to be doing international business. They're going to be starting their own companies. They're going to be CEOs, CFOs. They're going to be the heads of new companies. So you can see their excitement. This is the Coach Prime excitement. They're not only going to be screaming here in the classroom or wherever they are, they're going to be cheering on that field. This is what Coach Prime brings. I just wanted to say that right off the jump. These kids are excited. I'm excited. I want you to get excited. Let's keep moving.
Waiting in the room right now, getting ready for you.
What's the crowd? How big is the crowd?
I'd say
Almost 200.
I'd say it's like 150 right now. Yeah. So how it's gonna work, a little bit of logistics too, is so I'm gonna introduce you. Oh, I'm Trisha, by the way. It's so nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
I'm the president right now of Lee Student Government. But so what's gonna happen is Anya will be waiting outside with you. Okay. And then when I introduce you, I'll be like, it's prime time, and then
right now. You gonna do all that too?
Yeah, I'm gonna do all of it. And then you guys will both walk in, and then Kata and Jayad will be there asking you guys some questions.
No problem. We're gonna be seated?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So tell me what this is. I don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah, so you're in the business school right now, the Coble building, and we're Lead Student Government, so we are a council of representatives that represent our business student body. And so yeah, so today we're like having you here today to just talk about your personal branding, and remember that you're like marketing to a bunch of business students who are super excited to see how you made yourself a brand. Yeah.
The student body, they're prepping Coach Prime in this room and they're giving him the instructions about what's going on. They're explaining to him, this is what's going on. The fact that they want to talk to him about branding. I don't know how many coaches you guys know that are invited to talk about branding. If there's a winning coach at a university or at a school, they might bring the coach in if they do at all. Because I don't know that coaches are brought in to talk to the student body often. Usually when they're brought in to give some type of motivational speech. That speaks about Coach Prime. That lets you know that Coach Prime understands understands the youth. Coach Prime understands the today. What's going on today? He understands branding, your name, your image, and your likeness. Coach Prime is NIL. Coach Prime is NIL. These kids understand that. They see it. That's why they're acknowledging the fact that he knows about branding. He's already done it so much. The university has made so much money off of his branding mind. That's why I'm an advocate of that. The honorary doctor's degree, value of education here is very high. The curriculum is very tough, and these kids understand what Coach Prime brings to the table, and that's why they invited him here to talk about his branding. Let's keep going.
How did you come up with the name Prime Time, and what does that name mean to you?
First of all, in the hood, you can't give yourself a nickname. So the nickname in the city has to be earned. I earned that thing. I dropped like 38 points that night in the basketball game. Why does this thing have one like this? I dropped like 38 that night in the basketball game. I had a couple dunks back to back, and we were on a yellow bus going back to the school, and my homie said, "Man, you Prime Time." I said, "You right." And it stuck. And the rest was history. So I actually got my nickname from hooping in basketball in high school. So that's what came from, not football, not the baseball, but basketball.
That's really cool. And first, I mean, we're all lead students here, and we're super beyond excited that you're
Lead,
here.
what does that mean?
It's the lead school of business. So
What does
it's
lead
just the
mean?
business school.
It is
Lead. So I thought you meant L-E-A-D. Lead school, okay. Because when everybody, say they're a leader, that means that this doesn't mean you're in the front. Okay? Most people think just because you're in the front, you're a leader. I see many people lead from the middle, from the back, from in betwixt. You can lead from all different areas. You don't have to be in the front. That just means you walk faster than everybody. First, you gotta perfect before you package. A lot of you are trying to package and sell, and you haven't perfected it. So it's one thing to be prime, but you got to be prime on that darn field. Other names don't stick. So you got to be it before you become that. And oftentimes this generation puts the cart before the horse. But you got to understand your product. What is your product? Perfect your product. Package your product. Then introduce your product to the public. But don't take your product out there that your product is not ready yet. Because one thing about the light will show all your blemishes. Right, ladies? You gotta get the right light, but you won't get the right light. But you understand that light is gonna show blemishes. Fellas, we just take the darn stuff. The woman gotta get 3 different shots, 3 different angles. That light has to be right with the ladies. Right, ladies? Amen. I got 2 daughters, that's how I know that.
This is one thing that frustrates me a lot about Coach Prime's detractors. Coach Prime has a lot of detractors, and there are different levels of Coach Prime's detractors. There are the racist detractors. There are the HBCU detractors, those who hate the fact that he left the HBCU. And then there are just some people who are just, like the natural hater, the people who don't like somebody to succeed more than they do, or they wish that they were in the position that he's in, and you're not so great, what makes you so special? Those natural haters. There are different levels of this type of stuff, right? The thing that frustrates me the most about the racist detractors is that when we get into a situation, they always say, pick up yourself by your bootstraps and do what you got to do. They give us all of these instructions on how to be better. Why you guys are lazy. You guys don't do this. We're not good fathers. We're thugs. If you would do this, then your life would be this way. And the thing that frustrates me the most is Coach Prime, he is the epitome of everything that they say that we should do. They're always trying to give us this example of how we should lead our life, and then we will get the success that we want. But they see it in Coach Prime, but yet they are detracting. You would think that the racist detractors would be the ones that would be like, well, look at Coach Prime. This is exactly how I want you to be. The guy played the sport. He was so disciplined in preparing his body. If you're white or black and you're just a detractor, I can deal with that. I'm not saying that people who smoke and drink are bad people, but I'm just saying the things that they tell us. He don't smoke. He doesn't drink. He prepares himself to the highest degree. He's disciplined to the highest degree. These are the characteristics and things that they tell us that we should be. And when you see it, it's still not enough. You keep saying stuff like respect the game. So then that means that you don't really care that we do these things then. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Chinese, whatever color or race that you follow, that you adhere to, there are going to be bad apples in all of those groups. But when we give you a product, when we put a product in front of you and we say, look at this product, is this enough for you? And that's still not enough? You just want to be racist just for the sake of being racist, because here it is, we're showing you, we are exemplifying it to you. I just wanted to pick that out because Coach Prime is here and he's telling us these things, the epitome of everything they've been saying, and it's still not enough, and that is so disappointing. But let's just keep watching, guys.
Like in the different phases of your career, and what is it going to continue to look like in the future?
Well, let me tell you how this started. I was at Florida State, and I was a really, really good football player. But this agent that was trying to secure my services slipped me a piece of paper with the whole entire financial status of every position in the NFL. And unbeknownst to me, my position of the defensive back was one of the lowest paid positions in the NFL. I'm a sophomore at the time at Florida State. So I looked at that and I was upset because I'm thinking, we got the hardest job in the game. Quarterback's one thing, I understand that, I'm gonna respect them. But next to that, we got the hardest job in the game. We must be the most athletic on the field. And we're one of the lowest paid positions. I gotta do something about that. And I flashed back to when I was 7 years old and my mother was cooking a dinner on the stove. And I said, Mama, you know what? 7 years old, in a chair like this. I said, right by the oven that was right there. I said, I'm gonna be rich one day. I'm gonna make a lot of money. And you're never gonna have to work another day in your life. She said, cool. So then, go out there and cut that grass. True story. But I understood that and I flashed back to that and I told my mother that dream and that promise and I was dead serious at the age of 7. So going back to Florida State, I couldn't fulfill that with what defensive backs were making. And I went to Florida State in an 85 Firebird that my mother worked her butt off to afford, brand new. And on the front license plate it said prime time. So when I hit campus, I was prime. When I got on the field the first day, I was prime. Everything about me was prime. But going to that salary from the NFL, that wasn't prime. So I sat in my room and I did some deep thinking. And most guys is out there hunting, trying to chase girls, chase skirts, do what they do in the college life, at the college age. I was too focused and locked in. I had a little black book. It wasn't for numbers or women. It wasn't for the hottest restaurants in town. We didn't have social media, so it wasn't none of that opposition. I had a book of quotes that I wrote down because now it's time to brand. Because I'm him on the football field. But regardless, there's no one in the NFL who can make it a $30 million at my position. I wrote the book of quotes. If you throw this ball at me, the next thing you hear is going to be a bang. I'm the best thing since Peter, Butter, and Jelly. It was just different quotes because I know I was going to ball. And I know I was going to be in the press conference and the reporters was going to ask me, how did you feel about the interception? I'm the best thing since Peter, Butter, and Jelly. What you mean? You should ask the quarterback how he felt and he didn't throw the ball at me like that. So all this stuff was already rehearsed. And it was rolling off the top of my tongue like one of the best actors, the Denzel Washingtons, some of the Brad Pitt, some of the guys in Hollywood that making a mint off this stuff. That's how I created him. And it was so far detached from Deion, but Prime was a whole nother entity. So you got two entities. You got Deion, which is kind of reluctant, laid back, country boy with city swag. You know, I like to find things in life, but I find things in life don't have me, I have it. So you gotta understand, I knew what I wanted, I knew how to go get it, so I developed that monster. So that monster, your parents loved him and they hated him. They wanted him to do well, they wanted him to fail. So anything that any athlete that's like that today, you still pay, right? And that what the box, what's the brothers on the internet that's taking over the internet?
Big ball.
The balls, right? You want to see him win, you want to see him lose. I like to see him win because I'm all for the underdog. I'm all for those guys. And that's what I created. That guy, that image, that likeness named Prime Time. And I just played along with it until on draft day, I became the first $1 million corner defensive back, period, that ever was in the history. And I was the first $2 million guy. Then I skipped $2 million to the first $5 million guy. Then the first $8 million guy. And just kept setting trees, as well as baseball as well. So it was always a plan from the beginning. But I had to have the game before I could the fame. Understand that? That's some good stuff. We just getting good. I'm getting warm now.
The first time I followed this logic, I didn't understand what he was saying. I didn't catch how he brought it together. When the guy gave him the list, I was thinking, well, okay, so what did you think about the list? And it told him that his position was not the highest paid position. Basically, he said, okay, so the salary's not there. So then what do I have to do? I got to create this better version of me, or I got to create something that's going to get me paid higher than what this salary is. You got to create the package. You got to understand your value. What do you bring to the table? So he understood that he had to first create the value. He had to discipline himself to be that guy. It's not enough to just talk. You can't just talk the talk. You also have to walk the walk. He knew he could play. So because he knew he could play, he said, okay, I know I'm that guy. I'm already him on the field. With this salary, this ain't going to work. He understood what he was bringing to the table, so he was able to leverage that. That's what he's basically talking about, leveraging who he is and who he was. And Coach Prime is still leveraging that. If I know that I have something special in TLP sports, continue to build it. You're not there yet, Harry B. Just keep working it. If you got something, you have to understand what it is that you have first, and you got to keep working at it. I'm in this media space. One of the podcasts that I really love a lot, that's speaking in such an excellent way, is the Pivot podcast. The leader of that podcast, I just love his insight. So I'm studying people. I start looking at different podcasts. How are they doing it? What are some questions that they put together? What are the ways that they interact with people? You start off and then you got to build it. Once you build it, they will come. This is what Coach Prime is talking about. You know you have something, so build that up. Make sure that you know everything about this YouTube game. Understand the game. Understand how it's played. You got to understand how the algorithm works. That's the first thing I did. During the pandemic, I learned how the algorithm works. What does the algorithm do? How does the algorithm treat video? So I understood that. I understand that when you upload a video within the first 30 minutes, if nobody clicks on it, rework your title of the video. I understand how to play that game. Whatever game it is that you're in, whatever you're doing in your life, understand that you got to perfect that. Perfect that first. Once you perfect that, then you can leverage that. 7-year-old Deion Sanders, he knew what he wanted to do, and he set off to do that. And then everything else started to follow. So then when he saw that income, and he's like, wait a minute, this ain't going to work. Then he understood that I got to leverage this. That's when primetime came about. That's when he understood this is another way for me to get that money. I got to create this thing, this monster that's going to be the catalyst of the money that I really get. So what I do on the field is going to be different from the money that I get. And I'm going to keep getting it because I own this.
More leverage. They have more ownership. All because of this. One night, I was playing for the Cincinnati Reds. I didn't have a great game playing against my old team, Atlanta Braves. I think I might have been 0 for 3, 0 for 4. You got 162 games. Okay, flush it. Let's get back into the yard tomorrow. I had a scooter because I live right downtown in Cincinnati. So I was driving my scooter out the side door. The security officer thought that I was just a young cat from the hood. I'm on the scooter, I was an employee. You can't go out that door. I said, sir, I'm a player. No, you're not. You can't go out that door. He grabbed me by my shoulder and tried to pull me off my scooter. And I hit the gas. And instead of him letting go, he ran behind it and he fell. Okay? So I rolled around back to the locker room. I tell the GM, it's going to be a problem, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's going to be a problem. And lo and behold, swarm of police come in, put me in the back of the car, and they get around the corner. And they got to figure out what they're going to charge me with because I hadn't done that. That could never happen today because of this. But we had to deal with that. So now, I wake up the next morning, look on the news, gentleman that fell, he has a neck brace, arm split, he's sitting in the chair like that. I said, you got to be kidding me. Full blown out case where we had to end up at a great attorney. He ended up bringing the scooter into the courthouse. And I got on the scooter, and he had the gentleman get up because he was a little better by the end because it was a long trial. And he said, grab this, and Sanders, how you grab it. He put his hand on my shoulder. He said, now let it go. He said, why didn't you let go? And we won the case. That would have never happened in today's time. So times have changed because all of this, all of social media. You're your own media outlet. You're your own entity. No one could paint a picture of yourself better than you can because you have ownership of this. One of the best artists there is to me right now is my son. Where you, buddy? Stand up, buddy. You already standing. Okay, this is my son. He does all our social media, my social channels. I think Darius does, Travis as well. He does Shador's. So we have our own entity, so we paint whatever picture we want. You can't tell us about us. We're going to tell you first. So you can't tell us what happened. We're going to tell you first. You can't show us nothing. We're going to show you first.
So look, you see me on here. Some of you have desires to do this thing. Some of you know that you have a personality. You're hesitating. You don't know if it's going to be successful because you're looking at it from a different point of view. You're looking at it differently. A lot of celebrities in the beginning, they were talking down on social media. But I remember there was a lot of celebrities who they were saying, I'm not going to be tweeting this. I'm not going to be saying that. I'm not sitting on the toilet talking about, oh, look at me and stuff like that. They were talking about it. They didn't understand it. We have the ability to create something for ourselves. It's going to take time. You creating the package, you understanding what you have. A lot of us are in this microwave society where things have to be fast. You start something, it doesn't work out right now, then I'm just going to stop. I'm going to try something different. There's no consistency. Nobody has time to let things build. Nobody has time anymore. If it's not successful within the first couple of months, then I'm a failure. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. You got to put in the time. It may take a couple of years before I get to 100,000 subscribers. It's going to take me some time. I understand that. I'm playing the long game. This is not something where I'm just jumping into it and I'm thinking like, oh man, I have to be successful right now. Oh, that's it. You have to understand what you got. You're in this new universe. Every single time that something new starts, it's always the older folks that always say, that stuff is for the young people. I'm not getting on there on that Twitter, like social media and doing nothing. There's a lot of older folks. Coach Prime is over 50 years old. If you ask a lot of 50-year-olds, would you start a YouTube channel? They'll buck at it. I'm not doing that. That's for the young people. No, it's not. If you have a personality, your personality can make room for you right now. People are willing to watch you. People are willing to listen to you because you have something to provide. If you are an older person, for instance, if you are Big Mama, if you have this old school mentality, Big Mama, how Big Mama used to raise the kids, how Big Mama used to put some value into these kids and teach some values. I'm not saying you physically big. I'm just talking about if you know how to train young women, if you know how to groom young men, if you are a grandfather and you know how to talk to young men, and you start a YouTube channel or you start some type of social media channel, and you start giving advice to young women, young men, because of your old school values, teaching young women how to take care of kids, teaching young men how to dress and all of these things. You start that. You don't know how many people are going to follow you, and then there are brands out there that will come and partner with you and give you thousands and thousands of dollars for what you are doing. But you cancel that. We shut it down. Every time something new comes up, the first thing we want to do is shut it down. No, that ain't for me. That's some silly stuff. And I'm telling you, Coach Prime is showing us how much more can Coach Prime do. You don't have to just watch him. You can get involved. You don't have to just sit back and watch Coach Prime win. You can win too. We can all win. These kids are getting valuable lessons. They're learning a lot from Coach Prime, and they're understanding if Coach Prime is over 50 years old and he has a YouTube channel and he has people putting up YouTube stuff, then why not you? You can do the same thing. Age doesn't matter right now. Some of you got some really good skills. Some of you are plumbers. Some of you know how to carve. A lot of you out there have some old school values and skills that you can teach other people. A lot of you have so many skills that you can offer the world. You're playing down the social media aspect of it. There are channels that are dedicated to teaching you how to start your social media channel and how to benefit off of it. I learned how to do YouTube. Even though I know I'm a filmmaker, I kept talking about YouTube. I'm a filmmaker. I don't want to deal with no YouTube. I'm not doing all of that. I said, you know what? There's an opportunity here. Even though I'm a filmmaker, this thing can make room for me. I know filmmakers who are no longer filmmakers. They are full-time creators just like myself now. And these are people who actually have bigger jobs in the industry. But now all they do is just do social media. Now all they do is YouTube. They're making more money than they were when they were either gripping in the film industry or than they were actually as a director. There are people who are successful directors that are no longer directing. They're just like, look, I'm making so much money on YouTube that I don't necessarily have to be going from movie to movie, dealing with the personalities that I don't even want to be dealing with. So you can do it. I'm just trying to let you guys know. Coach Prime is putting it all out there. Or you want to travel, you want to do things in your retirement age. Get yourself an iPhone, get yourself an Android phone, get yourself something and start recording yourself. It doesn't have to be great in the beginning. You can start off not being that great. Just as long as you're growing and you're learning and you're making the product better, once you build it to a certain extent, before you know it, people want to partner with you. You never know what's going to hit. Don't sit on the sidelines. Don't just consume this Deion Sanders, this Coach Prime content and think that there's nothing in here for you. There's something here for you too. I'm always trying to motivate my community. I'm trying to motivate my people to let you know you got something that the world needs. You just have to get out of your own way so that the world can receive it. God wants to pull that out of you. You're standing in your own way. Let's keep watching Coach Prime, but I need you to jump in the game. I'm speaking to somebody right now. I need you to jump in the game. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm Harry B. And that was the Liberian Perspective. TLP Sports Club.